Welcome to all veterans, guests, and BallenIsles residents. My name is Bob Langer. We have come to pay tribute to those BallenIsles residents who are veterans of World War II. The film you are about to see was filmed and beautifully edited by Lauren Dowd Shedlock, covering about 20 interviews I had completed with those men, comments of snapshots of events they encountered during World War II, and to paraphrase Tom Brokow from his book, The Greatest Generation. They tell a story of a generation of American heroes, united by both common purpose and values for love of family and of country, displaying duty, honor, and courage. And to those veterans of the wars which followed, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, our nation owes to all of you, as well as to your families, our deep gratitude for the often very difficult, unselfish nature of a war-weary nation bounded by a common purpose of love of family, of God, and of country. Thank you all for attending this tribute.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
My name is David Blaker. I served in the Army Air Force as an instrument flight instructor.
My name is Herb. I was in the Merchant Marine. I was a Lieutenant JG in the United States Navy.
My name is Sumner K. Hushing. I'm a retired naval officer, rank Lieutenant Commander.
My name is Leonard Nieder. Rank was Captain, 8th Air Force, served in Duxford, England, the air base.
My name is Len Michelson. I was in the Army during World War II, attached to the Special Engineered Detachment located in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
My name is Sidney Hador. I was in the Air Force, Tech Sergeant.
South Sarpedy. I was in the Army from 1943 to 1946.
All right, my name is Marvin Tyson. I was born July 6, 1925. Went to the Navy in September of 43.
My name is Bernard Reisman. I was a sergeant in the U.S. Army. Served 2.5 years in the Pacific, from New Caledonia, the Guadalcanal, from Guinea, and a year in the Philippines.
My name is Edgar Feldman. I served in the United States Navy from 1944 to 1946.
My name is Walter Hershinger, and I was in the Marine Corps.
My name is Ernie Feldman, otherwise known as Cash. I was in the Air Force for 4 years, or 3.5 years, at the rank of Staff Sergeant.
George Karp. I was in U.S. Army Signal Corps.
Name is Sal Caslow, and I was in the Navy.
My name is Lenny Aronson. I served in the United States Coast Guard, enlisting in 1945.
Captain Edward Isso. I was in the U.S. Air Force, and I was a dentist.
Watakashiwa Yohei-san. During the war, I was a Japanese interpreter.
My name is Arnold Caden. I was in the U.S. Army, and what else do you want to know?
My name is Colonel Howard C. Scrappy Johnson. I was born in 1920, so I was just at the ripe age of when World War II started to get involved in that.
He is an American, prepared to accept his responsibility to protect and defend his nation and those he loves. That is the soldier's mission, a mission which has never changed.
I enlisted as an Air Force cadet, and that was November the 6th. At that time, the Air Force offered a program. If you enlisted within a certain frame time, you could select the base in which you receive your basic training. So four of my friends and myself, 5 o'clock in the morning, made sure we were at the enlistment center because we all decided we were going to go to Sebring, Florida for our basic training.
I went to Camp Cross, South Carolina, Spartansburg, South Carolina, for infantry training. Anybody who came into the service at that time went to one place, infantry, infantry, or infantry.
The night before going overseas, I got appendicitis, so they went overseas, I didn't. So they kept sending me for 6 weeks infantry training, 6 weeks artillery.
I took my boot training in Sampson, New York, and finally ended up in the South Pacific. I was a quartermaster, second class, on a landing ship medium 270, and we took part in the invasion of Okinawa.
My first flight was from Calcutta to Kunming, over the Himalaya Mountains, over the hump, they called it, and we were at the terminus of the Burma Road.
I started in Boca Raton, Florida, where there was an Air Force base, got training there, got transferred to Chanute Field in Rantoul, Illinois, and then ended up in Texas to study the final radar. Then I was assigned to this B-29 group and ended up on the island of Guam.
We had a little training in Europe, shooting down targets carried by airplanes.
We were trained for the Normandy invasion. You know, it was called off for 1 day because it was too rough to get into the water.
I was a waist and tail gunner on a B-17, and I did 35 missions in England over Europe.
My experience during World War II was basically anti-submarine after I left the Navy Department.
I made 2 of the most difficult voyages of the war. One to Murmansk, Russia, where 50% of our ships were sunk on the way. And coming back, I was at the beachhead on D+7. And an interesting part of our arrival as we went from Wales in the middle of the night right off of Omaha Beach.
My outfit, the entire outfit, was shipped not by boat, but by plane to Battle of the Bulge. Most of them, about 75%, never made more than 3 days.
Jimmy Doolittle was our base commander. You know, he was the Shangri-La lieutenant colonel. He was the general then. He became base commander in '44. I got there in '44.
I joined Patton's army, and we fought in France and Germany. And then we were stationed right outside of Dachau concentration camp. And one of my jobs was to take back German prisoners of war in the same boxcars back to France for forced labor.
I was assigned to a group of B-29s as a installer of radar and maintaining the radar.
Made the landing on Ewell. My company captain won the Medal of Honor on the second day on Ewell. We were pinned down pretty solidly. He crawled out pretty much right into Japanese lines to direct the artillery fire from a Navy ship.
We were sent over with the minesweepers. One mine actually right beside us hit with 3 times. The mine hit 3 times in on the area, and it blew the ship apart, literally apart. And we were able to salvage some of the people, not most of them, because they blew off in the ship.
I got to the Philippines 1944, about six months after the first invasion of Manila. I was transferred there from New Guinea, went to Leyte, and from there to Leyte to Manila.
We'd fly to 47s and 51s. You'd spend 6-7 hours in the cockpit. 47 was very roomy. The 47 was like a tank with wings. We loved the 47 because it had the big radio engine, and you had a lot of metal in front of you to protect you. They'd knock a cylinder out, it'd still go. It was hardly ever shot that plane down unless you got the pilot or you damaged the surfaces.
I was put on a troop ship called the Marine Serpent, an old World War II Liberty ship, and we went across the Pacific. And I was a dentist. They put me into the sick bay, and the first day I was there, had many patients come in. Had a great, all kinds of equipment and X-ray. And when I went to go to work, there wasn't one instrument. So the poor guys, that's the worst thing that could have happened in the service.
Basic time was all spent in anti-submarine work, first on the surface, then I went to flight school, then I came out and went back overseas to North Africa, and we were flying out over the ocean, protecting the routes that the President and Mr. Churchill were taking as they went to Yalta.
My other job was to go to Berlin and get the Nazi war records from Berlin and take them to Nuremberg for the Nuremberg trials. So it was quite an experience I had.
I get overseas in there one day, and he says, we want to send you an OCS. I said, whoa, I'm here one day, you want to make me an officer?
I think that I pulled down the flag that actually began the invasion, the amphibious invasion of Okinawa, from a landing ship 270, the lead ship in that flotilla. There were 1,000 ships altogether in the participating, but the landing craft were leading the way.
Made the landing on Ewell, and I got hit on the 15th day. So, I was very lucky. I got shot in the left arm. One of those $1 million moves, if you're right-handed.
The Manhattan Project was, as you probably are aware, was the project that produced the atom bomb. And I was located in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where part of that project was stationed. And we were involved in the production of material that was supposed to be used in connection with the bomb.
Our destination was Calcutta, India, and what we were going to do is the ship was destined to pick up troops from Burma and bring them over to Australia for the invasion, which never took place because the war ended with the atomic bomb.
The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. We won the race of discovery against the Germans. We have used it in order to shorten the agony of war, in order to save the lives of thousands and thousands of young Americans. We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war.
Well, when we were working on the project, most of the engineers knew what we were working on. We knew that it was atomic energy. We didn't know when it was going to happen or how it was going to happen. We were told the morning that it happened that something had occurred that we were working on, but we were still involved in a secrecy program. We were not supposed to divulge what we were doing or how we were doing it. We were surprised that it took place then, but we were not totally surprised because we were aware that it was going to happen.
At the end of the war, they probably had no fighters flying. What Doolittle told us, you know, originally you flew bomber escort. The 47 would take off first. When their range was about done, the 51s would come and fly fighter escort. Doolittle says we're not going to do that anymore. He says the fighters are going to go first and engage them before they hit the bombers. That's what we did. He changed the whole atmosphere of fighter.
And we did 3 or 4 missions a month. They were extended, usually 9 hours apiece, and out over the water with no navigational aids whatsoever except what we called seaman's eye.
Every time you did 5 missions, you would get the air medal. And I got the air medal, I did 15, and I had all clusters each time, every 5. And my 20th, when I did my 20th mission, they gave me the Distinguished Flying Cross. It's the highest award in the Air Force.
I was surrounded by an incredible bunch of guys.
I flew 87 missions, and we went back to the Philippines, and they sent another pilot up. And then they said it was 100 mission was a tour, so I had to stay in the Philippines for another 6 or 8 months because I hadn't flown 100 missions. And finally they said anybody with over 85 can go home, and so I came home.
And I just wish that everybody would have peace in the world. And that would be the thing that I would want mostly.
I have received this afternoon a message from the Japanese government in reply to the message forwarded to that government by the Secretary of State on August 11th. I deem this reply a full acceptance of the Potsdam Declaration, which specifies the unconditional surrender of land. In the reply, there is no qualification.